think we're live.
I know, I'm just double checking. Oh, we are live. I just gotta make sure it's public because it's going into my other group. All right, we're live. Here we go. So Dr. Julia went from not being able to pay her rent, not being clear on income generating strategies for a business, her niche, her audience, or how to build or finish a digital program, to collecting over $35,000 in sales in her naturopathic medical practice and mentorship business, earning $12K in just 4 days and tripling her monthly income, all from a paradigm shift in hyper attraction marketing. Wow. So I'm going to ask Dr. Julia some questions today about her experience working together and really how this all happened. So how are you doing today, Julia?
I'm doing great. It's cool to hear that back. I'm like, sheesh, that's fantastic. I just haven't heard it like that in a while. That's amazing results.
I say that's so awesome. And I'm so excited to have this conversation with you, and even more excited that we can put it for people to hear and actually know that this stuff is real and it's possible, and kind of live through your story. So why don't you introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yeah. So hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Julia Marie. I'm a naturopathic physician, and I have an online practice and an online program. And what I love to do is to show women how to heal the root cause of their symptoms naturally with naturopathic medicine. And then I use mindset and subconscious rewiring to show women how to embody their feminine magnetism.
I love that. So what was the big problem you were dealing with before working together?
I would say the main thing, if there was like a blanket statement, was not knowing how to generate income and taking massive action from previous mentors, which were great. It just wasn't the full package to show me how to repeatably and predictably generate income. And because of that, it caused stress. So that I was in fight or flight. I wasn't sleeping. My health wasn't great. So I kind of just felt almost like paralyzed with fear, and then I didn't have the proven strategies. So it's almost like a vicious cycle that left me feeling exhausted, stressed, and hopeless, to be honest.
Right. So you did not know certain knowledge how to make money online or in your coaching business offline or anything like that. You were, I know we had that conversation. You didn't know who your niche, your audience was. You weren't finished with a digital product and stuff. So you were kind of like going about it and just kind of figuring it out, which a lot of people in entrepreneurship are doing. And we kind of came across each other, which is huge. And then in your internal state, like you said, you were kind of hopeless, not knowing what was going to happen and not having faith.
Yeah.
So much going on there. And then obviously, like, if the people are watching this and they see the description, something must have happened. And that's what this whole conversation is about.
Yeah.
So well, before we get into that, what did you choose? Like, why did you choose to work with me over other coaches? And we'll get into kind of the background of what actually happened.
Yeah, like I have my answer is, it's like practical, but then there's also a funny thing that I think will crack people up. So it's really about, in short, I wanted to work with you because it's important for me to know people as humans, to see their values and how they show up in the everyday and what they embody and stand for. And, we're still really good friends, obviously, but it's like we started as friends. And I remember like you driving in the freezing cold to like come just like hang out and catch up before you left to Bali. And I was like, man, this guy's committed. And I'm pretty sure he like lives his everyday like this.
Right, driving though.
You said, what did you drive in? Oh yeah, motorcycle. Yeah, you're freezing cold. Yeah, that's a very important.
The temperature in Arizona, people don't know, it drops down to what, like 40, 40s?
Yeah, it was like 40 that night.
At nighttime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a motorcycle.
Yeah. He just drove over there at 10 p.m. just to like connect right before he left to Bali. And you also offered me like a free resource just because your abundance mindset and you embody that too. So that really stood out to me, that you actually care. You're not salesy. You didn't like want my business. You had no expectations, and you cared about me as a human. And I'll also say, probably what you don't know is when I went on your social media, I love that you chose the positive mindset in hard times, like with your flights to Bali and paying extra money or crazy things happening at the storage unit, things like that. And that stood out to me of like, he's never toxically positive or trying to put up an image. You're like, this is what travel's like, this is what being an entrepreneur is like, but it's still accountable and authentic. And you're also really funny. So the funny part is that I haven't mentioned to you yet, you have a reel where you're like running and saying something motivational. And then you're like, you gotta take life by the horns and just like soak it all in. And then you like rip this tangerine or an orange off a tree and it has this skin still on it and you like bite it and you spit it out and you're still running. And then it's like in theme with what you're saying. And I was like, this guy is just crazy and hilarious enough and knowledgeable that like, I want to work with someone like him because it looks like it's fun, but then you're also practicing what you preach. So I haven't told you that yet, but that was definitely,
No, I remember it. That was in Tempe.
yeah.
I was
Or like, I don't think I mentioned to you that like, that really set you apart, which is kind of funny to say, but I'm like, he's hilarious. And he also knows what he's talking about.
yeah. So
Combination
like
of all.
the bottom line here is I'm walking the talk. I'm doing certain things. I'm authentic with how I do it. It's
Yeah.
fun in the process. We laugh, we have fun, we make jokes. We're friends too, so it's enjoyable.
Yep.
And then also, obviously, I have the knowledge on mindset through my mentors and myself and my own experience, and then also on business too. So it's kind of all that together. That's kind of, I guess that's tough to find nowadays, who to trust online and who's actually doing the way you say and how to have fun in that process. Because obviously creating a business doesn't have to be this horrible thing. And we're still practicing this, you know, is how do you enjoy that process throughout it? So it's not just about achievement, it's about the fulfillment side as well. So we kind of talked about having fun in the process, but what would you say was like, what do you love the most about working together? If that's not it.
Well, to that note, I want to say that what I loved about working together is that you kept embodying what you were teaching me. And for example, the summary is you went to Bali and through that you learned a lot about trust and surrender. And that's when we started working together. And when you learned your lessons internally and shared that with me, when I embodied trust and surrender, that's actually when I generated $12,000 in 4 days and had my breakthrough after months of forced action, control, all this like hyper toxic masculine energy. And then when I shifted into the brand and what I stand for and embodying what I talk about and like what you learned about trust, surrender, more of that feminine receptive energy, that's when everything came in. So what I loved about working together is when we put our health and fulfillment and energy first, that's actually how we create a successful, fulfilling business. And how many people can say that it's like, we kind of put our self-care to the side and say, when I hit this goal, I'll do this. But for me and us and our paradigm, we put that first and then everything comes from that place and floods in. And then we can also sustain it. So it's just like, how does it get better than that? It's like, put yourself first and be happy and then generate massive amounts of abundance. Like, sign me up, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing too. We focus on both of those, the fulfillment, spiritual side, the business side as well. And I think too is like, I would go in Bali and I would share my experiences of actually going through these things. You know, I would be on a 12-hour time difference and wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning for coaching calls and share that it sucks, you know, and it's fun and everything like that. But I think that's so key, is to drive home on the internal side of like what I call paradigm shift. And I learned from some of my mentors, and mindset, if you want to call it that, is a huge part of this, as well as consulting style of building a business online too. So the internal shift, like before you used the word like hopeless and you were probably frustrated and all these other words. Internally, what was that like? And then based on that internal shift of like what emotion you like you mentioned, you were living your dream life and you actually realize that now. And then what was the outcome externally? Like, tell us how much money you were able to generate. You just mentioned $12,000 in 4 days at one point, which is like, you kind of just nonchalantly put that in there, but that's huge, right? Congratulations on that. And people listen, they're like, wow, you like that's possible. And even if making your first money online is possible, but making your first, 12,000 in 4 days makes you say, how much can I make at 30? How can I, and once you do it once, you can replicate it with a process. So tell us more about the internal and then overall what happened on the outside, because the internal is a reflection.
Yeah. So the internal was being honest with myself and seeing how I wasn't learning the correct skill sets or putting in the work to heal my mindset, to be more trusting, surrendered, open, calm, and like let the higher power, God, life, whatever you want to call it. I actually like had to be grateful and heal my blocks of gratitude and resentment towards life of like, my life's not how I want, I'm angry. So I literally had to like soften and authentically be more positive and trusting inside. And again, that was like trust and surrender, sales, marketing, the skill set, all of it. And then with that shift of again being more feminine, trusting, surrendered, that's when I honestly allowed in. It wasn't like I worked harder. I actually like took a nap, got myself like tacos a few days and like did restorative and yin yoga and just hung out and enjoyed myself. And then I allowed in $12,000 in 4 days. And I was pushing for that for so many months, but I wasn't being in the right energy to like receive that. Because how many people are going to enjoy someone that shows up on a sales call or in networking and they just seem like tense and like their cup is empty and you're like, I don't get that. I don't want that. You're not embodying this radiant energy. Why would I want to work with you? So that's why energy is important. So does that kind of capture, or do you want me to mention anything else?
Yes, no, I mean, that's it, is we focus on the business, but we focus on what's behind that. And that's really what's moving everything forward. So we have business strategies and different stuff like that. So 12,000 in 4 days, and then you had 35,000 in collected sales in your coaching business as well. So all of this together, I kind of just, it embodies what it takes. It's not just about the achievement of money and stuff like that. It's about who you become in this process. And in my program, my goal is to help people grow and create leaders, right? I think that's what it's all about too. I mean, the last thing too is what I find with like other coaches and stuff is so many of them don't seem to care about people. So before we wrap things up here, can you talk about like actually with no filter, how you could message me and had access to me, and how, from your perspective, how I cared for you as a client and a friend going through this program, because that's what people want too. If you think about it, when I sign up for something, I want to make sure I'm taken care of, my questions are answered. So how was your experience working together with that?
Yeah. So I would say the one-on-one private messaging access with the weekly calls, that was invaluable. And why I say that is, imagine if, for example, or put yourself in my shoes, anyone that's listening, you keep attracting the same client, a sales call falls through, you don't know what to say to this person. So you keep hitting up against these blocks, which have kept you stuck in your current result. And you're like, damn, I keep attracting this person, or they don't want to invest, or what do I say to their objections? I almost was able to support them as a client. But it's like you keep hitting this glass ceiling, or you keep having these negative thoughts and thinking about the same things a certain way, and you create more of that. So for me, when I had like a money mindset belief, or I was victim mindset, or a client fell through, or the sales call didn't go well, guess what I did? I immediately in the moment broke through that block, because I told Dana, like, hey, I feel like I'm being a victim and I don't have the right skills. And this is what happened with the sales call. What did I do wrong, quote unquote? What could I do better? And it's just like, we immediately addressed it in that moment or that day. And then guess what? Life sends in another client that's higher quality because I integrated those lessons. And then I did sign on that client because I now had the skill set, but I had to go through that period to learn what I did wrong, to ask Dana, and then to apply it. So it's just like a living, breathing process. And if I didn't have his support, I would have been spinning my wheels instead of leveling up, learning, going through challenges, and then repeating the process, and then bringing more abundance in.
I love that. And that's so important because people can sign up for programs or coaches, but when the paradigm comes up and what we talked about, the fear comes up and they don't know how to handle it, they have someone that they can talk to that's been through that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I also say, Dana, can I mention something else?
Yeah.
I feel like for me, my main block was actually paradigms and identity and mindset. And because I was able to talk to you, I was able to actually feel different inside and be more happier and fulfilled. But because I couldn't do that with other mentors to like go in depth with the mindset, I didn't realize like I still stayed the same person. So I still had the same results. And you made me feel safe and comfortable to like literally express the inner workings of my mind. And so that we could figure out what the heck's going on and then nip it in the butt. And then I'm just so much more positive because I was able to empty it out and work consistently to break through those blocks with you, like challenging me, and you wouldn't let me like come down from my greatness. You're like, Julia, like stay accountable, trust me, break through. And then if I didn't have that support, I would have kept sliding back.
I love that. That's so important. And you mentioned over here, I can see it right here, like you're more confident, magnetic, at ease, excited about life, empowered, knowledgeable, healthy mindset overall. And then as a reflection of that, you're earning this money, you're helping people online. So it's all this together that adds to the transformation. And that's what we focus on as well. So let me ask you this. Where do you think you'd be today if you hadn't worked with me or you hadn't joined that program?
I was answering that or thinking about that. It was like painful. I was like, I don't even want to think about that. But for the purposes of this, right, I probably would have had to move out of the apartment I live in, which is my dream place to live in. I might have had to get a bridge job that would keep me in a low paying job and in like this 9-to-5 hamster wheel. And ultimately, like it makes me sad to think about it. I probably wouldn't have gone after my dreams. I wouldn't have discovered my niche. I would be negative, resentful, stuck, victim mindset. And I don't even want to know, like my life would be completely different. And I would always think, what if, instead of, oh, this is fantastic. I'm so happy I'm here and I created this. So what else can I create? Complete shift.
Right. So maybe there's someone watching this right now that is in a similar situation like that you were in, or that they resonated to this on some level. What would you say to them to do right now? Or what would you say to them if they were thinking about just having a conversation with me?
Yeah. I would say, this is again from my experience, to be perfectly honest, I think people, to get the results that you want and the mindset and the business and the income that you desire, I do think it takes an in-depth transformative process. And I get if that's not for everyone, but if you really want to create your dreams, it's not about like, oh, I just need to network more and get more in front of people, or I just need like another sale. You literally have to change on a fundamental level and have someone hold you accountable for that. And there's so many things in entrepreneurship. They're like, you just need AI, you just need automation, you just need a funnel. And like, that's great. But if you're starting out or you want to keep building and actually shift, you're going to have to tweak more than you think. And someone like Dana is going to show you your blind spots. So I'm saying like, make the investment and it's going to pay dividends. And like, don't keep waiting and kind of like cherry pick and do things here and there, because it's a full transformative process and you'll be happy that you went all in, because your results will reflect. Life will give back to you all in if you put that out.
Love that. And I like what you said here, quote unquote, this is one of the top 3 best investments I've ever made into myself, and I will cherish this for a lifetime.
Yeah, literally.
Not number one.
Well, it's like medical school,
no.
something else.
Anyways, I thought that was really powerful.
Top 3 doesn't mean you're not number 1. It just means you're within there. So you can take that how you want.
I don't need to be number 1. I'm just happy to be in top 3.
Right.
But yeah, so for someone listening, we had some time for Julia to share her experiences, real experiences overall. So thank you, Dr. Julia, for sharing your transformation, inspiring other people that are watching this live right now. We're going to watch the recording. But if you have interest or curiosity or questions about like what it would look like to work together, what that really means, I want to invite you personally to use the link in the comments, or you can find it on my social media, my Instagram, Facebook, my website. But in the comments right now, I dropped a link to book a time to chat. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to figure out what your goals are, what's holding you back, and just how to make these things happen. So Julia is a prime example of just one of the clients that I work with and have worked with, when there's hundreds of other people having amazing results and really living a path to their dreams. And just like Julia, you can have fun in this process, but also it's going to take a lot of introspection. So not everybody is ready, but if you feel like you are ready, because we will get results and we will go deep on things and help you create your dream life or grow your coaching business or whatever business online you want to grow. So if that resonates with you, click below, book a time to chat, and I'll talk with you. Julia, again, thank you so much. These conversations are always a blast, and I'll see you in just a second.
Awesome. And they can ask me if they have any questions about my personal experience on Instagram, and like, feel free to link that below to Dana, or I can say it, but like, I'm an open book and they can see my results from my social media. So feel free to ask me any question.
Ask Julia and connect with Julia too. Just overall, she has good content and she's super intelligent and good person to connect with. So connect with Julia. Yeah, you're tagged in the top on Facebook. I'll post this on Instagram afterwards. But thank you, everybody. Thank you for watching as well. And I'll see you guys around. Julia, I'll see you in 1 second.
See you.